Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Value Talk. And आज की Value Talk बहुत special है because offensive defense. We have been talking about offense and defense and so much all throughout our lives. So it's very interesting that we have the founder of Offensive Defense today, and we will talk about cybersecurity from zero to hero. That complete journey we will talk about how a person who may not be, all of us have this doubt. In fact, when I left at that time, the biggest mistake I consider today is that I should have gone in this line, but I didn't. And the sole factor for this was because I thought that I'm not technical enough, which was it was just because I didn't have any guide. So first of all, since Beam is already here, we'll first welcome Commander Beam. Beam, welcome to Value Talks.
Thank you, sir.
So Beam, इसके बाद में I will give the baton to you. तो मैं भी थोड़ा सा बोल लेता हूँ. Okay, so what I was telling everyone was that the biggest mistake which I did was that I did not try to find out what kind of where do I fit in cybersecurity domain, and I was really very interested in it, but maybe my own I underestimated my own capabilities as far as the technical capabilities are concerned, because I had never done anything like cybersecurity, etc. I just knew operating system and blah blah blah. But cybersecurity, the only thing I had in mind was like it is like hacking, and you have to be very thorough with everything. And is domain mein jo career hai, it's very difficult to get into this domain. And I was grossly wrong because I saw later on some of my friends and peers who went into this domain. वो तो मेरे से भी कम थे technical. तो मतलब it was and why I say that why I recommended this talk to everyone is because, especially for those who are transitioning their career, whether from whatever industry, especially for those, and for those who are fresh graduates or something and trying to make a career. Why it is important? Because once you choose a line, you get branded, and thereafter you have to make very concerted effort to change your line. So that is why it's very important to understand if you have any inclination or if you have any curiosity towards cybersecurity, this is the class to clarify all your doubts. And we have for that, we have Commander Bhim Reddy with us. He has been involved in a lot of cybersecurity projects in Indian Navy, and I will just before we move ahead, I will just give you a brief introduction about Commander Bhim. He is a alumnus of NEC 12th batch and was commissioned to Indian Navy in Jan 2000. He served in Indian Navy for 22 plus years, and then he took early retirement from Navy. And thereafter, while in Navy, he has been part of various cybersecurity related projects, including Navy's Security Operations Center. Then he was Joint Director at the Directorate of Information Technology in Integrated Headquarters of Defense, Ministry of Defense. And then he has been Chief Instructor and Head of Computer Application Center in INS Shivaji. He has been Deputy Commander of IT Office at Headquarters Eastern Naval Command. And I mean, it's a long list. You want me to read out everything? Suffice to say, he is a very accomplished officer. And post his early retirement from Navy, he co-founded the startup named Offensive Defense, which is on its way to become the unicorn of India. I am very sure of it. And because he will not stop anywhere short of that, along with two other co-founders, and he is currently holding the position of Chief Executive Officer in Cyber Defense, Offensive Defense. And as CEO, he is a very dynamic leader. And they are moving very fast. I am very closely tracking Offensive Defense journey, and they are into a lot of tie-ups with a lot of renowned institutions of the country, including and the government, etc., etc. I will not take much of a time, but one thing: this talk is for people who are interested in cybersecurity. This talk is for people who are interested in setting up something like this, any startup. This talk is for someone who wants an inspiration, and this talk is for someone who really wants to make big in his career or in his second innings, whether in his career or in business, his whatever endeavor one is into. I think there's too much to learn in it. So straight away, diving into it. Welcome, Bhim. And you can see that the number is very steadily growing. So, welcome to Value Talks. And before I tell you to introduce if I have left out anything, I just want to set the tone of this talk. तो भीम हमारे पास कुछ लोग हैं जो majority of the people who are attending the talk today are from armed forces and they are वो लोग अपनी second innings के लिए तैयारी कर रहे हैं. कुछ लोग already second innings में हैं. And then we also have people from our Telegram group and civilian fraternity who want to make a career into cybersecurity. Now, what I want to know is cybersecurity career, is it too technical? I will ask the questions right in the beginning so that you can, pitch yourself accordingly. So is it too technical? One, was my fear in place when I didn't come into this domain? Second, do you have to be, is it only, hands-on things? Or there are, like at my age, I don't want to be in coding. So similarly, at the audience which is there, they are in a group of, some of them are in 20s, majority maybe in 30 to 45 group. And then there are officers who are superannuating and they are 50 plus. Where does cybersecurity fit in for all these people? And what is that? And for every group, every such category, what is your suggestion? Somebody who's in 20s, somebody who's in mid 30 to 40s, and somebody who's in 50s. So, and whatever we talk, how does one get the practical knowledge of it? And how do people who call themselves GD, जिनके साथ मेरी हमेशा लड़ाई होती है, infantry officers, army officers, when I tell them you are not GD, so they have a lot of apprehension that, sir, we are not tech. Where do they fit in? So I think with this, would you like it in a question answer form or would you like to, show something or you have a presentation or something? I leave it to you.
Can I start, sir? Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Manish, sir, and thank you, Value Talks, calling me and having this talk. Okay. There are a lot of questions that you have asked, sir. Rightly so, because even I have gone through that, transitioning. Once I decided I'll go for PMR, the journey was almost 3 years, not just about 1 year or 2 years or so. The journey was 3 years, a different story altogether, because you need a lot of preparation, of course, and a lot of cuts you need to come out and then do something on your own. Yes, so there's a lot of preparation needed for that. To answer all these questions that you have put, whether it is suitable for, whether this profession is suited for even people who are, coming out after superannuation. And also there are a lot of apprehensions, like I'm GD. Okay, so there is one officer, I'll just give an example of one officer who had called me. I don't know if that officer is here. He might identify himself once I mention. He's a helicopter pilot. He has commanded a nuclear vector. He's done theater operations. He's gone foreign deputations. Okay. And he has also led some delegations, some training delegations for a lot of, friendly foreign navies and friendly foreign countries and all that. And he calls himself as GD. Okay. In the outside world, I asked him, yaar, ek cheez bata, how many people in this world you can count in your hands that specialized in all these things I have talked about? Okay. A helicopter pilot, he commanded a very, very elite, a platform, and also have done so much of operations which involve so much of logistics and so many things that are involved over here. Okay, this is, and then you're calling yourself as a generalist and not a specialist. Not many people in this world can say about. So we are all specialists. We have done 10 years of service, 20 years of service, and as the length of service goes, we have done so many things that civilians can't even think of. Right? So we're all specialists. We could have done a lot of things. Maybe we have done one specialization, whether it is artillery, whether it is infantry, whether it is, any gunnery in Navy, or whether it is a technical officer in the Air Force, or whatever it is, right? So what I'll do is, let us not call ourselves as GD. Everybody is a specialist, everybody. And this cyber and professionals from the military professionals are considered by the industry to be best suited for cybersecurity. Whether you come from, a technical background, whether you're a coder, whether you're a non-coder, whatever it is, the perception in the industry outside is a military professional is suited for cybersecurity. Okay. So having said that, let us take advantage of this position of that the perception that others have. Right. Having said that, what I would like you to do, sir, with your permission, Manish sir, I'll make a small presentation so that a lot of things out here will be covered in the 20-25 minutes of presentation. A lot of such questions will be covered and we can go ahead with this.
All yours.
Okay, so I'll share my screen. Okay, so it's seen, right? Can anybody acknowledge? Can somebody acknowledge?
Yeah, we can see it.
And also one small test that I'll transition from 1 or 2 slides and just tell me if it is transitioning or not. Is it transitioning?
Yeah.
It's going into the next slide. Okay, great. So we are good now. All right, sir. Okay, so we are here to talk about cybersecurity profession for all. All I mean, working professionals who have got some background, especially military background, right? Anybody and everybody can get into cybersecurity because cybersecurity has got a lot of vacancies going on right now and a lot of growth projected over a period of time. And there are so many vacancies available right from entry level up to the very senior level. So you can cut it any point of time. There's a joke that, outside in the military, nobody will take you directly as a colonel or a brigadier, but in the outside world, people will take you directly, as a CEO or a CX or a CISO or anything like that. Okay, you can get into that. So we can take advantage of such situation. So what I'm going to give you is path, as it explains, path from zero to hero. Today we are a cyber zero. You can become a hero. So having said that, I'll just go to that. So the big question over here, what we're trying to answer is this, that can I become a cybersecurity professional with zero prior exposure? And along the line, when we go through this 20-25 minutes of presentation, we'll also have certain questions, other questions answered, like, where do I start? Do I really need any IT exposure? Or, any kind of an exposure is good enough for me, not good enough for me? What does it take for me to become hireable? What does it take for me to, each one of us, to get noticed by the industry outside to fit into certain role? And like I said, that what is it suited to? Who is it suited to? Whether it is SSC, PC, or superannuation people and all that, right? So we'll answer all these questions as we go along. Right, so this is the agenda that we are covering, in which first I'll explain about a little bit about myself. Manish sir has already introduced about me, but in any case, I'll just talk a little bit about me and my company, and then we'll go about trying to make a cybersecurity career path for each one of you, right? Okay, all right. So next, so we are Offensive Defense, like Manish sir has already introduced. Offensive Defense is a niche cybersecurity startup. We are focused on realizing our vision to become the global leader in cybersecurity research and skill certification authority. So we are establishing ourselves as a certification authority, similar to like what a PMI, right? A PMP is a gold standard certification project management. PMI is the institution that gives the certification. So we are establishing ourselves for the first time in India. We're establishing ourselves as a certification authority in cybersecurity, right? So what we have done is over a period of time, the preparation was done, and after that we had established our credentials by becoming part of various elite clubs. Like right now, in the middle, you can see T-Hub. We are working in T-Hub, which is the largest ecosystem of startups in India and in Asia, in fact. And one of the very unique places where there are 2,000 startups working in a very, very dynamic environment, right? We're part of Startup India. We're part of Data Security Council of India. And on the left side, you see that we are part of NASSCOM Deep Tech Club. And we are also incubated with the National Center of Excellence of Cybersecurity, which is an initiative of DSCI and the Ministry of Information Technology. Right, and we have established partnerships with a lot of international partners. These are very, very renowned names: Rangeforce, Hack the Box, and these are our research partners, and they provide us private labs and all those things to establish a curriculum that is best suited for all types of professionals, right from students up to very senior professionals. Right, so this is the leadership team. I am in between. Right now, I am the CEO. Introduction of mine has been given, but my two partners, Arun, on the right side, if you see Arun Amoy, he's also there in the presentation. He has been a senior director in Oracle, and he was working with Reliance, and he's the industry guy who's got a lot of experience and also has led large teams. He's a techie. And then you see on the left, Dominic. He is also a very renowned guy with an exposure to NSA and PMO. And he's worked with the NTRO and IB kind of a work, and he's got a lot of exposure to cybercrime. So collectively we have done, and there are some invisible hands, of course. There are some people who are mentoring us, who are very, very well renowned in the industry. So we are drawing a lot from the experience of a lot of experienced people in the industry, right? So now coming to the picture, why cybersecurity and why now? Let us answer these questions, right? So what is the industry outlook? What is happening? Everywhere in the IT, there is a hiring slowdown. You can keep hearing these news like layoff is happening, technology sector is seeing slowdown and all those things. But what is happening in the cybersecurity industry? Same people who are giving this news, what are they talking about cybersecurity? This is what they're saying. Cybersecurity is defying the slowdown and it is only increasing. As of now, there is 70% increase in the role. On the left, you see that there is almost 1.5 million unfulfilled job vacancies in India. That will be as of 2025, there will be 1.5 million. Right? We'll come to that. So this is the demand that is there in the industry, and they're ready to lap up anybody and everybody as of now. Okay. There's a huge opportunity over here. Like I mentioned, worldwide 3.5 million jobs are going to be created, 1.5 million only in India. Okay, why? India, because India is now, after the whole COVID thing gave over and all those things have happened, a lot of dynamics in the world have changed, and then the entire corporate structure is shifting into India. A lot of it is shifting into India. A lot of global centers, global development centers are shifting into India. So that is why there are going to be about 1.5 million vacancies across the board. It is not just the entry level jobs of some analysts and all that. Across the board, even CISOs, there is a data that says that there are CISOs are going to switch. 25% of CISOs are going to switch their jobs every year. That means 25% of the top cream layer is getting vacated every year, right? It is almost like the churn that is happening in the Navy or in the Army, in the Air Force, where commanders are moving out and commanders moving in every year. It's something like that is happening. So there's a lot of opportunity over here, and the average salary over here shows that it is above a normal salary in India, right? The data might not be correct, but then it is at least 1.5 to 2 times of normal tech professions that is there as of now. Lap up this slide. I'm not saying this. It's one of the renowned research agencies that's saying 30% of current cybersecurity professionals are coming from totally non-technical fields. Okay. So now don't have to worry. All of us, if you think you're from non-technical field, if you think you're GDA and all that, this is your opportunity, right? And also, I have mentioned right in the beginning that military professionals are best suited for cybersecurity. What is the general perception in the industry? Because we know security, cyber, we have to understand, right? All of us do understand what cybersecurity is. So how do we understand cybersecurity? All of us do understand. So what are the building blocks of cybersecurity? The building blocks of cybersecurity is, if you just mention something like defense in depth, or layered security, right? I'll just take out this picture. If I say defense in depth, all of you will straight away understand, right? So there are so many layers of security that you have to put. If you have to enter the establishment and go into CEO's house also, you have to first cross the outer gate, then you have to cross the inner gate, then you have to cross the entire, you have to cross the entire barrier of security. There could be different, depending on the size of the unit, size of the organization. There are different layers of security. Then you go further. Then there are further checks, right? To access the data, the most confidential data, you have so many layers of security. I probably have to spend about an hour or 2 hours to make a student understand what defense in depth means. I don't even have to tell anybody. I just have to mention the word and we all understand, right? So in the cyber domain, what happens? Cyber domain means in the information technology or any networked area, what happens? That in the outer side of the security will always remain the non-technical part of it, right? What is it? Firstly, you have to have policies, procedures, and all these things in place so that your entire framework is defined, right? After that comes the physical security layer. If you have to enter a data center, सबसे पहले तो you have to cross that boom barrier, right? There'll be people checking your iCards, there'll be biometric lock, and all those things will be there, right? So these things will happen. So you have to cross those layers, and then comes the technical part of it. Slowly comes the technical part of it. So we understood half of it already. All of us do understand half of it already. So half the battle is already won. So what are we worried about? So that's what it is, right? And what is the framework? This is basic cybersecurity framework that it talks about, right? If you see from the blue block over here, it says identify, protect, detect, respond, recover. As simple as that, okay? The entire technical part of it is built over this framework. So it's that easy to understand. So we don't have to worry about that. I don't have to get too technical and all those things. People who are in the senior level have done so much of policies, procedures, and all this. And people who have served in the headquarters, in the naval headquarters or army headquarters, or in the local command headquarters and all that. They do understand what is the importance of policies. People who have commanded any unit do understand how important it is to set the procedures in place, standard operation procedures in place. We all do understand that. Right? So this is just the framework. We just have to overlap, cyber into this whole thing. We have to take it into cyber domain. That's it. This is a triad which talks about, this is the basic building blocks of that. Confidentiality, integrity, availability. We do understand what is the importance of confidentiality. If an information is to be stored in a particular place, it has to be accessed by only a particular person or only a group of people. Only those people will be able to access. You have to put controls in place. Integrity, that means if the data is supposed to be given to somebody in some form, a simple example is Amazon. If you log in into Amazon, you always expect that Amazon is available to us, availability, and then it should be available to us in complete form, right? So that is what is integrity of data. So whatever is intended by the originator will be given to the final customer. What is integrity of data is to be maintained. So these are the building blocks of cybersecurity. So, and these are the things which come very, very naturally to us. That is why also there is a perception. That is why also people who have gone into the security profession, cybersecurity profession, from the armed forces have done really well, even though they are from non-technical background. Okay. So before going into this typical organization, I'll tell you one small example and one small story. Some of the people might be knowing about, I'll give you an example of one, I'll take the name of one person called as Commander Pankaj Sharma. Okay. Some of you might be knowing. Commander Pankaj Sharma retired from Navy after 21 years of service, 3 or 4 years back. A marine engineer, a total non-specialist. He worked only on the mechanical engineering, marine engineering part whilst in the Navy. When he went out, he joined Mahindra Defense Systems. But there, after coming out, Mahindra Defense System in the technical, in the marine engineering part, he saw the opportunity that there are a lot of openings in the cybersecurity and homeland security division of theirs, right? So he upskilled himself. And today, after 3 years, he is the national head of cybersecurity for Mahindra Defense Systems SSG, right? So absolute zero, he was absolute zero. Today, he is, the number one in the Mahindra Defense Systems cybersecurity, number 2, right? So that is what people can go in. So we have understood that we are suitable for that. Building blocks of cybersecurity, the security and cybersecurity are same. You just have to overlap into the security in the cyber domain, right? That is what it is. Now, just to understand a little bit of a context as to what cybersecurity is all about, I'll just spend 2 minutes in how typically a corporate or an organization within a corporate or a big business house works as far as cybersecurity is concerned, cybersecurity or information security is concerned, right? So on top, there is something called as a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. Usually he is the head of the security organization. Under him, there are 3 different organizations. Typically there are these 3, branches that are being divided into. One is security architecture and engineering. Then comes the security operations, and then comes the governance and risk and compliance part of it. Very important. Just remember. Now here, people who are talking about, who are saying that I don't know coding, I don't want to do coding, at this age, whether I'm 40, whether I'm 50, whether I'm 60, whatever it is, I really don't want to do coding, don't want to get into that whole thing and all that, right? So there are branches of cybersecurity available where you have to understand what people below are doing, okay? But at the same time, if you just understand it, put it into the business concept, then you will be able to develop policies like governance, risk, compliance, and all that. That comes over here. Security, architecture, engineering may be a little more technical, but governance, risk, and compliance is the one where you are devising policies. It's almost like Army Chief today is an engineer. He comes from Corps of Engineers, right? He's not been an infantry officer, but then as Army Chief, what is he doing? He is looking after the entire big picture. He's looking after the big picture. He is the one who's devising the policies and overlooking the operations and everything else, right? He need not be an expert in a particular field. You can come from one particular branch and then grow, and when on top, you are actually looking after the entire thing because he's got the big picture. You understand literally what is happening and you understand the big picture, right? So what is happening? So this is what it is. So a lot of people in the security profession also right now could have probably come from some data background or some network background or some IT, web development, software background. When they grow up and become CISO or become head of security operations, they would have not got exposure of everything else, right? They would have got exposure of a few things, right? Similarly, we also have got exposure of generally what about the security of any organization should be, okay? So that's what it is. So now, just to understand a little bit what is happening is what kind of jobs are available in the industry as far as security is concerned. So under the security operations, there are these almost like there is, if you see, there is a red team, there is a continuous monitoring and detection, there is incident response, there is threat intelligence and all that. Don't you think that these names are very similar? These names are very similar, right? If you have to, if supposing there is a unit or there is a corps or a brigade which is there in the valley or which is there near the LOC or so, okay? So what are they doing? They're doing operations. They're doing day to day. They're doing these operations. In that there is a team which is going on patrol every day. That means they're going and collecting information, threat intelligence. We are going and monitoring the threat, right? And then there is, if some incident has happened, you're responding to that incident. There is a quick reaction team. Similarly, there is this incident response team over here, right? And then there is a team which everybody is working towards for that one char ghatak team जो जाके उस तरफ जाके bloody they will attack, right? So these are red team operators who are ethical hackers, penetration testers, who will test, who will do the offensive testing. So defense and offense, both are there in this particular thing, right? This forms part of security operations. So it's easy for us to understand the entire organizational structure of this particular thing. Okay. So this is generally security operations is usually the biggest, among the three heads which is there. Then coming a little bit of exposure quickly into what is security architecture and engineers do. They develop the architecture, they see what is the risk that is available, what are the controls, what is the technical thing that we have to put so that your network is secure, your web applications are secure, right? So in that also, if you just see, there are project managers, there are architects, there are network designers. So there's some kind of, a project management, this kind of element is also there as part of this one. So this is especially for those people who are in maybe 10 years bracket or so. This is a very good way to get into, because then the growth will be good, right? And then there is this head of governance, risk and compliance, where you're going and auditing a system. You don't have to do any coding, you don't have to do any kind of technical designing of a system also, but you just need to be aware of everything. And also you have to put this into business context. That means you should have a big picture, right? What business is doing actually. In the outside world, everything is about money, everything is about business is existing to get revenue, to get money, right? So you have to understand that big picture, and you have to make sure that the policies are in place, audits are in place, compliances. That means if there is a fintech company, if the finance company, they have to comply to the RBI guidelines kind of a thing, right? For example. So all these things are there. These are not technical at all. These are very, very non-technical, generalist kind of a thing, but still forms the cybersecurity part of it. This kind of role maybe suits very well to people who are superannuating, people who are at a higher age bracket, wherein they don't have to get into the operations per se, but they can get into this particular role, because this role requires some study of certain rules and understanding of the business, understanding of the big picture, right? Which all of us have. So this is generally how it is. So we'll just go about the next question. Okay. All this we have understood, right? We just have to put it in physical security ko humko kya karna hai? We have to just put it into the cyber domain, right? So what is cyber exactly? So when you talk about cyber security, what does it mean? So cyber means actually originally it was different. I mean, cyber security, information system security. People used to use it in different contexts, but nowadays what happened is in the industry, everything has come into this one particular overarching subject called as cyber security, right? Everything else, smaller security parts of it will form into that. Cyber is what? It is anything that is related to involving computers or computer networks, mostly internet. Okay, so you need to understand internet, how internet works and all these things, right? You need to understand that, and then overlap this entire features that we have talked about into the framework of cyber, right? So there are different aspects, like small data security, network security. That means network components if you have to secure them, you have to do certain thing. Your data is residing on a particular data center, you have to do some things and all that, all these things. So these things form under an overarching subject called as cyber security. And then on top of that comes the information security, and then the entire security of the information systems. It is almost like the layered security that we have talked about, right? This is the basic framework. If you just understand this and put things into place, then things will be solved. That is the reason why I'm trying to tell, not giving individual picture and giving a overview of a picture from top, is to understand the importance of the putting everything that we have learned in the military profession into overlap into the cyber domain, right? So that is the reason, even if you say cyber security, that is the reason the top guy is Chief Information Security Officer. Okay, because information security is an overarching subject over cyber security, but still information security also contains the physical aspect of it, policies, procedures, everything else, right? But in the industry, generally, everybody is saying for anything, all this information security, cyber security is used interchangeably. Please remember that it is used interchangeably, though technically they are a little different, right? Cyber security means everything that is security, put it in cyber domain. That's it, right? So now we have established that cyber security is the right career choice, right? I think I will not be overstating if you say that, we don't understand cybersecurity now, right? We do understand. So cybersecurity is the right choice. In case anybody has any doubts, maybe we can park it till the time we finish, and then you can type it in. We'll take all of the doubts and all that. I see somebody raising hands, right? Okay. So now, since it is right career choice, but then what should I do? What are my options? What is that available, and what are the challenges so that I can succeed into it? And let us thrash them in the next 10 minutes. Okay. I hope I have not taken too much time. Right. Let us thrash all of this as to where should I start? What are the challenges? So to do that, what I have done is I try to explain it in two terms. That means what is we are going to industry, we're going to corporates, and we're going to, seek a job there, right? So it is better to understand their perspective also, what is happening there in the corporates and industry, what is happening, what are the challenges that they're facing, and let us see what are the challenges we are facing after that. Okay. So industry mein kya ho raha hai? There is an acute shortage of skilled professionals. I have spoken about 1.5 million jobs available, right, by 2025, but right now there are more than 6.7 lakh jobs or something like that are unfulfilled, because the right kind of professional, the word is skill over here, right? Not knowledge. Just knowing is not enough. Skilled professionals are not there. That means if somebody has to work on something, a carpenter is actually a skilled guy. A shooter, a sharpshooter is skilled because he knows how to use the gun and how to shoot, right? We all understand these things. So that kind of skill is missing in the industry. Okay, that is one part of it. And then, most of the security professions, because they don't have people from the specialists in security, they are filled from the IT jobs and all that, right? And even on top in the HR and top leadership, the awareness is not there. So we are not the only one who lacks awareness as to what is happening in the industry. Even in the industry, the CXO, CEOs, chief operation officers and all that, they themselves have no clue what the security teams really want. Okay, that is the situation today in the industry. Okay, and for each, and they can't define the job specifications clearly. And once somebody enters the profession, whether it's a student or a working profession for coming from IT or some other background and all that, the learning curve is really, really steep, and it takes a lot of time for them to learn, and there is no time for people to teach, because already they're working in a very, very pressurized environment because of lean teams. Very small teams are there, right? So then what is happening? The number one biggest problem is, once somebody has set in and he has learned the profession over a period of say 1 year, 2 years, or whatever time it takes, they leave for a better job. So that becomes the biggest problem. There is a high attrition rate in that, because people are ready to take with the other side. There are people sitting, okay, I've got a skilled professional here, let me pay 1.5, 2 times higher and then take them. That is what is happening in the industry. So there's no loyalty there. Okay, so there is a lot of churn that is happening in the industry. So bottom line, what do they want? What do the corporates or what does the industry wants? They want people who are skilled and who are trained, who can start work from day one and be loyal to the organization. That is what it is, right? Then coming to the challenges that we are facing today. All of us know, but let us list what are the challenges that we're facing. So there is a lot of lack of awareness, not only in this particular thing. All of us do lack a good understanding of how corporates, of how businesses outside work. Because of course, we've been working in our own environment, and we do lack, because we get only a vendor view and all those things, people coming in suits, people coming in different things, trying to sell things to us. That is what we understand when we see the outside world. Right. And when it comes to cybersecurity profession, this is a very broad and deep subject. And where should I start? There are no university programs. Maybe there are some, but we don't know where to start from. There is no formal training path, right? We have an entry in NDA, an entry in IMA. Then after your basic cadet training, you choose a particular path. Whether you go to infantry, whether you become a pilot, or whether you go to artillery, whether you go to armored, whatever it is, there is a training path. There is a formal training path that is there. Medical profession, there is a path, right? But as far as cybersecurity is concerned, there is no formal training path available to us. Anywhere in the world, there is no training path available. There is no fixed learning path that is available to us. So, and there are many different entry points. Somebody who is totally from non-tech field has come inside. Somebody who's done network engineering has come inside. Somebody who's done software development throughout his life has become a security professional. So there are a lot of entry points over here. So where do I start? What is the dilemma is always there, It's not only for us. In fact, this is a proper dilemma even for working professionals outside. In the outside also, there is a awareness that security industry is lucrative. The jobs are good. The jobs are there. Fixed jobs are there. I won't lose if there is a layoff. I won't lose my job if there are layoffs. And also, the pay is better. But still, a lot of people don't know where to start. And, if you want to take the path of certifications, there are too many certifications available. It is called as the C world, certification world, certified, certified, certified. But then you don't know what certification to take, right? So let me just put it in this one. So cybersecurity learning is a journey. It is not a course, okay? You just cannot take one particular course and become a cybersecurity professional. Okay. So I will just come to that also, that at the end of it, I will say that you also take my course. That's a different thing altogether. But I just want you to understand that it's a journey. It's not just one particular course. If somebody says that 2 हफ्ते में 3 हफ्ते में हो जाएगा या फिर one boot camp of a month is good enough, you should pitch a mode and run away straight away. Okay, that is what is it's a journey. It will take time. If you're starting from zero now, it will take time. That is what I just want to understand. So summarizing, what are the challenges that we have faced? We'll try and thrash these challenges. Okay, so where do I start? Very broad and deep subject and all those things. Okay, so cybersecurity is what? It is an offshoot of the information technology, right? And in the information technology, if you see, there are a lot of fields, right? Internet, communication, servers, network, and all those things. This is not to scare you or anything like that, but it is also divided. So it is organized. It's not like it's not very organized. It is organized. So a lot of people do have different entry points from database, from hardware, from network, from this thing and all that. So what we would recommend is anybody who would start from zero or have no background in the IT or a little bit of background in the IT should start one particular path. Okay. So that path we are going to take is from right, that is from network and internet. Okay. So how do we do that? We'll just see this. Okay. But before that, I will also just go through this, certifications ka roadmap. Basically there are a lot of certifications available in the industry today. All of you must have also come across saying that कि कोई CISSP करने के लिए बोल रहा है, कोई CISM करने के लिए बोल रहा है, कोई कुछ और and all those things, right? All of you must have come across that. And anybody who's talking about cybersecurity. But what nobody tells is that these certifications are actually, there are two types of certifications available in the industry. The certificates that are available can be broadly divided into two: skill certifications and knowledge certifications. Okay. And what you normally come across, that people keep telling you that take CEH or CISA, CSM, security plus CISSP, CCSP, all those things, they fall under something called as knowledge certifications. That means you study, go write an exam, multiple choice exam. Okay, some exams are really tough. Take the certifications, go take a certification and go for a job. But then you have not done anything that is skill based, right? Especially for people who are in the bracket of 10 to 20 years or so, you have not done anything hands-on. Okay, so that means there is no skill. You have not developed any skill. You just can throw jargon. After 2 years of working in the industry, anybody can throw jargon. You don't need a certification for that, right? And then on the other side, there are skill certifications. There are different skill certifications. Okay, so some of these skill certifications are very good. In fact, people who are junior, I mean, at the 10-year bracket and, even at the 15, 20-year bracket also should look at this certification. There are some very good certifications where there is a whole simulated environment and then you do practically do hands-on, skilling and upgrading yourself. But even these, there are a lot of them. Okay. So what do we do now? What do we do now? So knowledge certification lena hai, skill certification lena hai, kya lena hai? But actually, if you see, there is no combination of skill and knowledge certification anywhere else. Either they just ask you to start, coding and typing, or only read and write exam. Okay, this kind of a scenario is existing in the market right now. Okay, and just to give a picture of how many certifications are available, this is it. So many certifications are available. It is very difficult to make a choice. And I'm going to make your life more, if you want to go for certifications, it is going to be more complicated. Okay, more and more complicated. Like you can choose one particular aspect, you can choose one particular thing and then go and all those things. Okay, right? And also, if you have to take certifications, you have to go through a certain path. That means one certification is not good enough. Okay, you have to take an entry-level certification, then you have to go for a higher level certification, then you got to go further level certifications. And most of these knowledge certifications will not fetch a job directly. They might give you a certain knowledge. They might not be able to give the kind of job, the break that you really want, unless until you have a background, unless until you have been working in the IT, you've been working in the cyber groups within the Navy or Army or the Air Force. These certifications are not going to be of much help. Okay, so what are we here for? We are here to help you. How are we here to help you? The offensive defense has come up for the first time in India. In fact, for the first time in many parts of the world, we have come up with a a different kind of a certification, which will be a combination of both knowledge and skill. Okay, so for that, let's see what actually matters. What matters if you start from zero today? Okay, if you start from zero, what do you have? You need to have very strong foundations. Strong foundations. You need to have some amount of practical knowledge, okay, which you probably did not gain during your service, but you will need some amount of practical knowledge to understand, crack that interview, get into the job and do a good job, right? And you need some amount of skill and experience. Okay, experience is needed, but how do you replace that experience? I will just come to that, right? And also, while taking this journey, while taking this cybersecurity learning journey, you will need some mentor who will guide you correctly, right? And then there is a no escape to hard work and perseverance. Okay, this is a warning. And then also at the end of it, you will also need some kind of support from somebody who you can put your resumes across and all those things. Okay. So I just wanted to tell you one thing. Why I mentioned this particular thing, hard work and perseverance in red, is what we are offering, how we are helping as part of offensive defense. What we are doing is we will give you all those things that is mentioned in the blue, and all that you have to do is the red part of it. How? For the first time in India, we are launching a program. We have launched a certification program called as Offensive Defense Certified Professional. Blue, I'll mention why blue. Blue is the red because the cybersecurity teams in corporate are mainly divided into two things, blue team and red team. We do understand blue team is people who are working in the defensive cybersecurity. Red team are the ones who are working in the offensive cybersecurity. But the number of jobs and the amount of work that is available in the blue is highly skewed. It is almost 8 for 8 blue teamers. There is 1 red teamers. So blue is the right kind of a thing. How do we go about it? What are we doing as part of this? This is an advanced certification program. Okay. That has been, like I said, we have got international partners. We have curated a course along with these international partners. What this gives is a very, very hands-on, fully integrated career assurance program, wherein you will have knowledge sessions. That means there will be the knowledge certifications are giving, and also hands-on simulator-based skill development. It is almost like we are providing a simulator, right? Today, if a pilot has to be trained, you can make him sit in the class, you can make him or her sit in class, explain about aerodynamics and everything else. All of us know about it, right? Nothing is going to happen. But till the time he go and sits onto the simulator and crashes that simulator, that flight on the simulator many times, he's not going to learn what about flying. We have applied the same principle to cybersecurity also, right? You will be given some knowledge sessions, but at the same time, there is a simulator which gives you the hands-on skill development, right? And after that, we will also support you in the bottom part, which you see is more for the entry-level guys, where you also get some kind of apprenticeship and all that, but career support is available, right? So what is happening? So it is a combination of this ODCP Blue is a combination of skill and knowledge certifications, which is not available right now anywhere, any course right now in the world, except for maybe there is a certification called as GIAC, for which the ticket starts at $10,000. Okay. So otherwise, this is for the first time in India, we have launched this certification, which is skill and also knowledge base. So what do we have as part of the entire skill development? There is something called a cyber range simulator, right? There is entire simulated environment. There are a lot of real life scenarios of both cyber attacks and defense also. And then, this thing is designed so that it takes from absolute basics, so that your foundations are very, very strong, whether it is Linux, whether it is, operating systems and all that, foundations are strong, and progressively take you to the advanced skills, right? And the emphasis is to develop practical skills to groom the learners for the industry. So what is happening here is people who come and learn, it is not specific to only say somebody who's at entry level or 10 years or 56 years or, at whatever level you are. So for a person who's at say 10 years of service now, leaving service, this will give a very good hands-on exposure, and then he can go and join at a mid-level, at a junior mid-level management where there is hands-on environment. But at the same time, a person who's going at a senior level, who would want to become a senior professional, who would want to get a job at a higher managerial level or do some kind of consulting on his own and all that, will get an exposure to what actually the teams are doing below. It's almost like you've been put into the shoes of all these lower level people who are doing security analysts, SOC analysts, and red teamers and all these people, and you're doing what exactly they're doing. So this is what this particular cyber range simulator gives you, which is as of now no other course or no other cybersecurity course in the industry is right now giving, right? So the net result is advanced skill certification in cybersecurity and ethical hacking is what is going to happen, and it is a world-class program. Okay. Right, just to give a picture before I just shoot off. If you go from right to left, clockwise, fundamentals, cybersecurity fundamentals, then cover a lot of theory in risk management and all that, and operations incident management, then come to absolute practicals of threat hunting, penetration testing, and then there is a project-based evaluation that is there. And then at the end of it, we are also providing a hiring support. So this becomes very, very important that, okay, this is again, as part of a certification course, as a part of course and a certification, a hiring support is being given by the organization. So this is what it is. So this is what we are offering, right? And a lot of things where it's covered starting from fundamentals and going to depth slowly, and it is covered. So how much time does it take for you to actually learn these things, right? So we have devised a path so that you not take multiple number of certifications and spend too much time on this one. Typically, it might take, if you go through multiple certification route, it might take about 12 months or or more. But we recommend a path of minimum of 5 months, right? Starting from fundamentals, going slowly, do absolute practicals for a period of 5 months. Of course, there will be a number of hourly sessions that will be needed, particular number of hours to be put into this as an effort. And then you complete the course in 5 months. And the mode of delivery, like I've mentioned, there are knowledge sessions, there are classes. So 32 hours of classes, online classes will be available, and also practical skill development of 186 hours is there, right? Different scenarios. So, and followed by, there is an exposure to the industry, right? For those people who really want to go to the industry, work there, there is something called a cyber apprenticeship. And then there is evaluation for which the international certification is given, which is ODCP Blue. And then the employment opportunity. That means we are working with a lot of HR organizations, directly with corporates also, to get the employment. And there is a lot of good response for taking veterans into this profession. And a lot of companies have already started hiring. And they, in fact, if you see, I'll just tell example. I was in IIM Lucknow last to last year. The first set of people who got employed, okay, after finishing the IIM Lucknow course, was the 4 of us. In fact, I had also got employed into Deloitte, but I didn't take it. 4 people who got employed were from cybersecurity profession. Cybersecurity, and they call something called as hybrid operate project management. That means it is project management combined with InfoSec and all that, right? So this is what it is. So I would, before going into question answer session, if you want to become zero to hero, I would recommend you to join my course, okay? And next cohort is starting from 1st of June. So its admissions are open as of now. This is the fees, okay? 84,500 is the fees for this. And you need a registration fees of this. Okay, before thinking that this is too expensive, okay, I'll just flash 2 different slides which shows the real picture of the cost of what it takes to become to get certified into this kind of a thing, okay? So who do we compare with? We compare with some of the organizations like IIITB, Simply Learn, and IIT Kanpur program of which they're running along with, Talent Sprint, these organizations. So these are the organizations like us only, of course. You must be knowing Simply Learn, Talent Sprint, WizHack. These are the organizations which are general edtech companies. They are not specialized only in cyber, but we are the ones who are specialized in cybersecurity. Offensive defense is very, very niche focused only towards cybersecurity, and we are not going into AI, data science, ML, and all those things, right? So our certification, including, I have shown 84,500 plus GST, it costs about 99,000 something, about a lakh. The closest that comes to us is somewhere around Simply Learn IIITB course, which is 1.6 lakhs. Okay, and the courses, the cost of the courses will go up because this IIT Kanpur program. In fact, if you see the 4th one, there is a e-masters program which is available for almost 10 lakhs, 9,44,000 rupees. So the curriculum is same, and don't be taken by, and I'm one thing that don't be taken, if somebody has an experience already, they will definitely know. Don't be taken by the names of IIT Kanpur or IIIT Bangalore or IIT Jodhpur and MIT and all those things. Okay. Finally, ultimately, the programs are run by the EdTech partners like IIIT Simply Learn program. Not a single IIITB professor is there who's teaching anything, entirely learn by Simply Learn. Okay, and there is a chart over here. Maybe I can share this presentation also later. The kind of the cyber simulator that they're giving, no one else is giving. The closest that somebody can come across is maybe IIT Jodhpur course where they're giving certain amount of virtual labs, right? That is, otherwise nobody else is giving career support along with this, the kind of thing that we are doing at the cost that I have mentioned over here, right? Okay. And also, just to put another thing into perspective, if you don't want to take any of these, university and this kind of courses and certifications, there are general certifications available, like CEH is Certified Ethical Hacker. Don't be taken by the name. It is not a very great certification. Security Plus, good certification. CISA is But what happens is that if you take a path of a certification, you all know a lot of you must have done PMP, LSS, Lean Six Sigma certifications, and some of the CS certifications also, if you see. It's a path, right? And typically you will take a lot of time for each of these certifications, and you'll end up spending a lot of money into it. So a minimum that you to reach a level where ODCP you will take, it will take about 1.5 lakhs, because each of these exams cost 35-40,000. They are all in dollars. It's a money making racket for most of the American companies, right? So that is how it is going to be. So this is the comparison. So I'll bring back that slide wherein the total course is this, but then, you know, I have, so what is happening is once I've got the picture, now the 84,500, I hope doesn't seem to be very high, but still I've got a discount for the today's attendees. Those who want to join me, those who want to course, there is a 10% scholarship that I'm giving. So it becomes, the course becomes about 76,000 rupees. And there is some GST component to it. Okay, all those people who want to register before or after question answer sessions, we open to question answer session. Let's talk about it. So this is a payment link which we'll separately also share with you. That's what it is. Okay, so generally this is what it is. You pay the admission fees and then you come across, and then you are on your way to become a cyber rock star, right? So at the end of it, again, military professionals, military veterans are the best suited for cybersecurity professions. I'm finished.
Great presentation. Very, very engrossing and very interesting. Can you first paste the link in the chat box? That is number one. And secondly, are these classes which are there? If I am to join the course today and I start from 1st of June, these are going to be recorded session, mix of recorded and live classes. How is the doubt clearing being done?
Okay, sir, if you go back, there is 32 hours of, as part of the course, there is 32 hours of live interactive sessions. Okay, so this is specially designed for working professionals. So all these classes are going to be on Sundays. Maybe some of them on Saturdays, but mostly on Sundays. And typically timing like 10:30 to 12:30 or so in the morning. And we'll have live interactive classes. And also there is a lot of lab, there is a skill development over these labs and cyber simulators, right? So when you're working on the simulator, there will be some kind of, doubts also that will prop up. So there will be mentoring sessions. And also there will be some industry experts who will be brought to give their kind of, their experience sharing and all that as part of this course. But 32 hours is live interactive session. It is not recorded classes. Only for those who are not able to attend, maybe we can give a live recorded sessions.
And at the end of the course, there is going to be some kind of examination.
Yes, there will be an evaluation, because this certificate is going to be a little, there is a project, in fact, there's a capstone project that will come, and then there will be an evaluation, wherein a scenario will be given and there's something.
But before that, I must compliment you. I mean, you are taking the certification industry head on, actually. I have always been maintaining this. I mean, people think that I'm against PMP. I'm not against PMP, but I mean, why don't we have our own certification in project management? You know, we are a country of, we are the most populous country we have the maximum population in the world. People are heading, all the top MNCs are being headed by Indian origin people. And, but we don't have our own certification. We have the certification from US and we pay in dollars. So you are taking the certification industry head on, and I salute your vision that you aim to be providing certifications, and I'm sure with as the time goes by, आपकी जो certification है, they're going to be world recognized. I mean, they will be recognized world over by foreign countries as well. So really, hats off to you. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining.
Gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head